Did you know the Earth has over thousands of different ecosystems within the 9 main biomes of Earth? That's right. And then within them, there are millions of species living all together. These species rely on each other to thrive, and a small change into an ecosystem can affect thousands of organisms. As humans further their knowledge and become more technological, they're slowly causing ecosystems to collapse by destroying them and by killing many organisms. Today we'll meet two experts on these biomes.
Coral reefs are beautiful marine ecosystems composed of many different kinds of colorful coral. Coral reefs typically exist in warm, sunny, and shallow water, and they're known as the rainforest of the ocean because they're diverse ecosystems. They're really important because although they only make up 0.1% of the world's oceans, they're home to over 25% of all of marine life.
Wow, that's incredible, and they look so beautiful.
Oh, I completely agree. They most likely won't be here for much longer.
Why is that?
Hold on to that thought, and let's start from the beginning with the components of coral reefs. Coral reefs have multiple biotic and abiotic factors. Some biotic factors in coral reefs include the coral, the fish, and the aquatic plants. Then some abiotic factors include trash or pollution that the coral and other marine life may encounter, or rocks, minerals, the water, and then other non-living things in the coral reef ecosystem.
I have a question for you. Besides the amount of diverse organisms, why are the coral reefs so important to us?
So you see, the coral reefs actually produce oxygen via the algae that coexist within the polyps in the coral's tissues. The source of oxygen is important for marine organisms. Through the carbon cycle, 25% of carbon emitted gets absorbed by the ocean, and about 70% of the Earth's oxygen is produced by plants in the ocean.
That is impressive, and I bet most of you didn't know that because I surely didn't. But besides that, are there any issues that the coral reef is currently facing?
Unfortunately, yes, there are quite a few issues caused mainly by human activity, but the most problematic is coral bleaching.
Could you please elaborate on that?
Sure. Coral bleaching is basically when the coral ejects the algae from their polyps due to a change in the environment such as an increase in temperature. This causes the coral to not get enough energy and then turn white and slowly die.
Could there be any future consequences of coral bleaching?
If in the extreme case where coral reefs become extinct, about around one-fourth of marine life would lose their habitat and would most likely die. There would also be a substantial increase of CO2 in the atmosphere, which would then cause global warming to rise.
That is terrible. Has there been at least anything done to protect the coral reefs? And how can we as individuals help?
Yes, there are many organizations such as the EPA that are passing laws such as the Clean Water Act, which protects the quality of water in coral reefs and coastal zones. The EPA also monitors these coral reefs closely to find the causes of the problem and solutions. There have been acts against pollution at the beaches and reefs, and rules that prohibit anchoring in reefs have been passed. New products such as sunscreen that use minimal chemicals are being used more commonly, and people have volunteered for reef cleanups to help with pollution. People are acting against global warming as well, which is the main cause of bleaching. There's also been a use of science to help solve this problem.
Oh yeah? And how does the science work?
So there's this new technology called CRISPR, and with this we can transfer the genes of the algae of the coral reefs that can survive in extreme heat and acidic places to the more vulnerable coral reefs. Oh, and I forgot to mention, another thing these organizations are doing is to move corals from one place to another so they can grow faster. Many coral reefs are being moved to the Great Barrier Reef so that the reefs grow faster.
That is awesome, but it would still take time for the coral reefs to grow. And do you think the science would mainly hurt or help this issue?
Well, I think it surely will solve the issue of coral bleaching, although with the benefits there also come some limitations. The benefits of the science is that coral reefs can grow more and faster. They could also have genes and algae to protect them from extreme conditions. Some limitations could be that the coral reefs and algae are being transferred don't adapt to the new environment. The genes could mutate and not adapt to the new coral.
This sounds great and everything, but wouldn't the science be quite expensive since you're genetically modifying the algae? And wouldn't this also have an ethical implication?
Actually, using the CRISPR-Cas9 is relatively cheap, usually under $100. The science has an ethical implication because adding different genes to animals or plants to some people is incorrect and disliked, but is helping the environmental factor by restoring coral reefs.
Well, I'm speechless. I have no more questions. That was great. Thank you very much for coming on the show and talking to us. Everyone give him a round of applause.
Well, thank you for hosting me. Goodbye.
Now, let's tackle the great temperate forest biome with an expert on the subject.
Temperate forests are fantastic forests found between the tropics and boreal regions of the world. Due to their geographic location, the forests go through very different forest seasons. These spectacular biomes have a lot of precipitation and many organisms, most notably squirrels, bears, foxes, and moose. Most pictures of the biome are taken in autumn, when the leaves of the trees turn orange due to the breaking of chlorophyll.
Wow, that's spectacular. These pictures really want me to set up a cabin and live off the grid. What are some things that make up the temperate forest?
The temperate forest features abiotic factors such as rocks, water, sunlight, hills, and air masses. For biotic factors, we have trees, shrubs, and other plants, mosses, fungi, mammals, birds, reptiles, insects, and microbes. There are also many biogeochemical cycles that are necessary for the biome to exist, but I argue that the oxygen and water cycles are the most fundamental. The water cycle allows all organisms in the biome to thrive, and due to the enormous amount of trees, the oxygen cycle is impacted.
There are so many elements in the temperate forest that I never knew about, which is pretty cool. Other experts have told me that many biomes are facing problems. Does this apply to the temperate forest?
Although the temperate forests are beautiful, they are indeed facing problems that threaten them gravely. The biggest problem they are facing is deforestation. Increasing demands of wood have caused humans to chop down elevated amounts of trees, causing problems for all forests. The clearing of forests not only affects the trees, they also affect the organisms in them because the homes of the organisms are being destroyed. The cause of the problem are humans because we're the ones cutting down all the trees.
Darn, well there go my cabin plans. Is there at least anything being done to solve this predicament? And what can we do to help?
For solutions to solve this problem, some people have created something called ecoforestry. It's a system where people cut down trees and replant whatever they cut down. Others are creating laws preventing the clear cutting of forests, and for individual people like us, we can help by attending tree planting events, recycling, and being mindful about how we use paper. There are also sciences being used to solve the problem. In my opinion, the science that has the most potential is the creation of tree planting drones.
Ooh, sounds exciting. But what do these drones do exactly?
Tree planting drones are drones that use artificial intelligence to judge where a good place for a tree is and drops biodegradable pods filled with a germinated seed and nutrients into the ground.
So let me see if I got this right. The drones reduce our work and solve deforestation, correct?
That's absolutely right.
So since these drones are efficient, would you say they're better than just planting trees by hand?
With these drones, we can plant hundreds of potential trees in minutes. The only limitation of this is that although many trees are planted, some trees do not grow to problems with the terrain or other factors that the artificial intelligence cannot detect. This solution is great because there are very little side effects to the environment and it is very efficient. The benefits about manually planting trees is that we can make sure that the tree will grow, but the only problem with this is that it takes a lot of time to plant a single tree by hand.
Would you say the investment in drones is worth the cost?
These drones can be expensive because for maximum performance, many high-end drones are needed with the proper equipment and computation power for the AI. However, this technology helps the environmental factor a lot because with more trees being planted, the temperate forest can grow. It will hurt the economical factor because for the best results, very expensive equipment is necessary, and luckily we don't have to worry about social or ethical implications because this project is unrelated to any ethical belief.
Alright, so there we have it. I've had a great time being with you and thank you so much for your time. I hope we see this technology implemented in the future. Everyone give a round of applause for our expert right here.
No, thank you. I'm sure this will help raise awareness for this problem. Goodbye.
So that's it. We learned new things about both biomes and how they're being troubled by similar problems caused by us, humans. The global warming is killing the coral reefs, and the forests are being destroyed for our sake. Many animals are also being killed, directly and indirectly because of this, and it hurts to see. And we're acknowledging that we are killing the very earth we live on. Thank you for tuning in to our video of biomes. I hope you enjoy it and see you next time. Goodbye.